CPAs are spies. Lawyers are what? What are they? They're bounty hunters, except that you pay them. Right, all right, we'll read this paragraph again in complete form. In such energy dominance is absolutely established, the consent of the people to labor and let others handle their affairs must be taken into consideration, since failure to do so could cause the people to interfere in the final transfer of energy sources to the control of the elite. You're looked at no different than a battery, and they're sucking all of your energy until you're unable in any form to defend yourself. At that point, in this later, next page, I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. Huh? Say again? Okay. It is essential to recognize at this time, public consent is still an essential key to the release of energy in the process of economic amplification. They need your consent. The key to undermining the strategy is that you must not consent. That's the ultimate power that you think you don't have, but you do have. So you understand what I'm saying to you. And this is the implied consent that they're actually using to move these instruments at all. And the fact that people are starting to declare their nationality is killing their power of attorney, which is causing a bust in housing or the real estate, which is you, but your mind is on these buildings. That's what their safety is. You understand what I'm saying? Because you believe things that are not true, but the facts are opposite of what you think you know. Now, therefore, consent as an energy release mechanism will now be considered. Logistics, artificial womb, the political structure of a nation, dependency, then summary, then we're going into quick questions and answers. But I gave you your foundation. The successful application of a strategy requires a careful study of inputs, outputs, the strategy connecting the inputs and the outputs, and the available energy sources to fuel the strategy. This study is called logistics. A logistical problem is studied at the elementary level first, and then levels of greater complexity are studied as a synthesis of elementary factors. This means that a given system is analyzed, i.e. broken down into its subsystems, and these in turn are analyzed until by this process one arrives at the logistical atom, the individual. This is where the process of synthesis properly begins, and at the time of the birth of the individual. This is where the birth certificate comes in necessarily, where they lie and say your mother sold it. Of course, because that's contract law. That's a whole other subject. Keep that in mind with contract law, okay? All right? The artificial womb. From the time a person leaves its mother's womb, its every effort is directed towards building, maintaining, and withdrawing into artificial wombs. Various sorts of substitute protective devices or shells. The objective of these artificial wombs is to provide a stable environment for both stable and unstable activity, to provide a shelter for the evolutionary processes of growth and maturity, i.e. survival, to provide security for freedom, and to provide defensive protection for offensive activity. And this is equally true of both the general public and the elite. However, there is a definite difference in the way each of these classes go about the solution of problems, logically because of different bodies of knowledge. That's called logistics. Now, the political structure of a nation, dependency. So they're telling you the true political structure of nations, etc., and why it was established. This concept was established by the papacy, which is what you're dealing with today. The primary reason why the individual citizens of a country create a political structure is a subconscious wish or desire to perpetrate their own dependency relationship of childhood. Boys and girls, get that? Now right here, notes, section entitled Action, Offense, Responsibility, which is page 51, is missing. They didn't release that. So we're just skipping that and going to page 52. So they hire politicians to face reality for them. Summary. The people hire politicians so that the people can, one, obtain security without managing it. All right. Two, obtain action without thinking about it. Three, inflict theft, injury, and death upon others without having to contemplate either life or death. Avoid responsibility for their own intentions. Obtain the benefits of reality science without exerting themselves in the discipline or facing or learning either of these things. They give the politicians the power to create and manage a war machine to, one, provide for the survival of the nation/womb, two, prevent encroachment of anything upon the nation/womb, three, destroy those citizens of their country who do not conform for the sake of stability of this nation/womb. Politicians hold many quasi-jobs, quasi-military jobs, the lowest being the police, which are soldiers, the attorneys and the CPAs next, who are spies and saboteurs, licensed, and the judges who shout the orders and run the closed union military shop for whatever the market will bear. The generals are industrialists. The presidential level of commander-in-chief is shared by the international bankers. The people know that they have created this farce and finance it with their own taxes, consent, but they would rather knuckle under than be the hypocrite. Thus, a nation becomes divided into two very distinct parts, a docile subnation and a political subnation. The political subnation remains attached to the docile subnation, tolerates it, and leaches its substance until it grows strong enough to detach itself and devour its parent. Peace. 14th Amendment. So it's not as innocent as it looks, is it?
Insidious.
And its root didn't start in 1865. You understand what I'm saying? And what is it that they fear? The greatest thing they fear with all the technology they have is consciousness. Because that's the straw that breaks the camel's back. By their own words. In a military manual that's not designed for public exposure. This is why, when they recognized over the years we were giving this information out, why they took it off the websites. So now you can't get it. Right, the printing office in Washington ain't giving it to you. As a matter of fact, on some sites, if you go type it in trying to get it, they'll send a virus to your machine.
Firewall.
They'll send a virus to your computer.
They'll have a warning sign up so you won't.
Yes. And you keep on pressing, then your computer will get messed up. Period. Then it's no longer useful to you. And the point? The deal is, the point I'm saying is, it's vital for you to get your concepts together. And don't look at this information as just interesting. Don't apply it, and it just simply makes you easy food. Not that they're not coming after everybody. Because they're running a war that has been going on for 400 or 500 years. And we keep looking at this thing in 1865 when we were slaves. The concept is totally wrong. In order for this to be effective, they need these people to continue to call themselves black. To take them out of the human family so other nations can't legally come to your aid. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's right. Because the Monroe Doctrine, one sovereign nation cannot interfere in the sovereign affairs of another sovereign nation. And even though they're a colonial government, i.e., you understand what I'm saying? Technically, because they're exercising our estate and we're not contesting, then we're considered incompetent and that we've abandoned our birthright, which is the consent that they're using. But they can only do it through a corporation because we can't, because if we spoke, it wouldn't stand. This is what that Cusick number is for, and the account number is for, and the straw man is for. So you must attack it, but yet you can't capture it because you didn't create it. You see the point? And as the people began to wake up, that's why they threw them UCCs out there to make people think they could buy sovereignty through capturing the straw man, when actually any attachment to the straw man where you seek a benefit would simply be an affirmation of the straw man, because you sought a benefit. And you just let them off the hook. So you must speak of that straw ex relation. You understand? Only you, a proper person, or the Attorney General of the United States. No one else can speak for the straw. Islam. Loud enough people hear it.
That plan was for all nations. The plan. That's the plan.
All nations.
It's mainly here because Rome didn't fall. She moved. Rome is operating from Washington, D.C. Islam. Loud enough to hear.
If we want to understand better with the founding of this government, what history?
This is what you need. You need a good background history of the Spanish Inquisition. You know there's the Roman Inquisition, the Medieval Inquisition, and the Spanish Inquisition. Spanish Inquisition is the monster. That's the one that changed the world. Subsequently, to understand your history here, called Negro, Black, called Latinos, whatever you are this week, you must know the Pontifex of 1492. You must know Inter Caetera Divina of 1493. These are bullas or edicts from the church. And then you must know the relationship of the treaties made with the European colonists after coming to North America, which is called the hub, with the popes of Rome through the Treaty of Verona of 1213, and the subsequent undermining of the United States Republic, which was set up by Moors and Europeans to break that sequence, those constant years of wars between the Moors and the Romans, which is really what the United States was set up for. So the popes of Rome are systematically undermining the Republic, which is why you won't see none of these Europeans talking about the United States Republic. They always say U.S. democracy. That's the code word for the overthrow. You understand? And then by our people not knowing themselves, they think all of that is Europeans. They don't know that they're part and parcel of this government. They don't know they're standing in Northwest Africa. They think it's only on that side. So these are the little subtleties that are called great Masonic secrets that's to the detriment of these people who will be destroyed, unless they honor their mothers and their fathers. That's your only remedy. And just knowing is not even good enough. You got to be active. If you're not active, you may as well just go ahead back to the state's jurisdiction, because that's what it's going to be. Now, so to help in this mission, help you, the nations of the world formed a committee of 24 to work towards decolonization. But you have to take your places in the affairs of men in order to start recognizing what's going on your behalf. And our people are still being passive. I mean, it's moving fast, but for the most part, you've got all these so-called Negro organizations that's misdirecting their energies and their finances. Loud enough. This is what you want to do. Go on the website, pull up United Nations General Assembly, Committee of 24, Decolonization, and see the activities. The issue with us is that we must become organized under our own great seal, i.e. we must fly our colors, and you start communicating with them. Write them letters. Let them know you're alive. Squeak the wheel. That's the involvement, and you must do it from a national perspective. You can't do it from a Negro, Black, and color perspective, because there's no such people. Because nations recognize nations. That's why you always say declare your nationality in name and principle, and recognize the free national name of your free national government. Is not so, you don't even look for your divine rights as citizens, because you ain't going to get it.